Hey guys, I'm sure you already know what we're discussing today. If not, we're discussing the complete timeline of the Pokemon games. Why? Because this topic is highly debated, so I thought it would be a good idea to do it on my channel too. Now, a lot of what I say in this video is my opinion, and is what I've come up with to answer this question. Therefore, I may be entirely wrong with this, but it could also be right. If you don't agree with me, that's your opinion. Also, I'll only be using the main series games in this, no Mystery Dungeon or anything like that. Anyway, let's look at a tweet made by an employee of Game Freak since Generation 1. He tweeted out that Generation 1 and 3 take place at the same time, so most likely their remakes take place at the same time too. Generation 2 and 4 take place at the same time, so Heart Gold and Soul Silver would most likely also take place at this time, as they are remakes of Gen 2, and they are in Generation 4. Generation 5 doesn't take place at the same time, but Black 2 and White 2 take place at the same time as X and Y, although Black and White takes place sometime before those two. Finally, Sun and Moon along with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon take place, you guessed it, at the same time. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are like Emerald and Platinum. Not much has changed, except it is in an alternate universe to Sun and Moon. So from here on out, we can start working on the timeline. So, as we now know, Generation 1 and 3 take place at the same time at the start of the timeline. How do we know this apart from the tweet? Well, in Fire Red and Leaf Green, when you travel to the Sevi Islands, you can do a side mission to allow you to trade between Kanto and Hoenn, the two regions that these generations are set in. This proves that they take place at the same time, because if they didn't, then you'd be sending a Pokemon into the future. Coming after Generation 1 and 3 is Generation 2 and 4, which is confirmed in the game to take place 3 years after Generation 1 and Generation 3. How do we know this? Because Team Rocket are attempting to make a comeback after Red defeats them 3 years earlier, and post-game you can travel to Kanto to collect the gym badges and see how different Kanto looks. Cinnabar Island's volcano erupted, therefore Blaine, the gym leader of the gym located there, was forced to leave and go to the Seafoam Islands. A lot of the other gym leaders have changed. Either they have become older or have been replaced by other people entirely. And you can battle Red, who is situated at the top of Mount Silver, which is in Johto. Therefore, Red would have had to travel there after the first games take place, because there was no way to travel to Mount Silver in Generation 1. Next in line is Black and White. Now, we don't have any clear facts that detail how much time has passed between Generation 2 and Generation 5, but I can estimate the time to be between 6 and 8 years. Why? Because the Elite Four member Caitlyn. This is the same person from the Sinnoh Battle Frontier, although she's clearly aged quite a bit. For Black 2, White 2, X and Y, it is confirmed that they take place 2 years after Black and White, because in Black 2 and White 2, you can find Sharon and Bianca in the game, clearly having aged since our last encounter with them, but not by a lot. X and Y take place at the same time as Black 2 and White 2, so we've got that covered. Now this is where it gets a bit tricky. As we all know, X and Y introduced Mega Evolution, a form of evolution that is temporary and is caused by 1, the Pokemon holding its respective Megastone, 2, the trainer having a Keystone, and 3, at least in the anime, requiring the trainer and Pokemon to have a strong bond. Now, we know that Mega Evolution was a new concept that Nintendo and Game Freak came up with, therefore they introduced it into the new games. But, what does this mean for the timeline? It means that it splits in 2. That's right, there's not only one timeline, but 2. This is confirmed by Sun and Moon, as they give us a parallel universe. So this is the start of what I'm going to call the Mega Timeline for simplicity. We'll refer to the timeline that we were just working on as the non-Mega Timeline. So Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire start off the timeline as they came before X and Y, so we're going to have to pull that from the non-Mega Timeline as it contains Mega Evolution. After Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, we have X and Y 11 to 13 years later. Why that long? Well, if you look at the non-Mega Timeline and add up the years from Generation 1 to 3, Black 2 and White 2, then you get somewhere between that. The reason why we don't have a definite answer is because we don't know how much time has passed between Generation 2 and 4 to Black and White. X, Y are then followed by Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon coming in at the same time as each other 2 years after X and Y. So that's what I've come up with. Do you agree with me? Do you have your own thoughts on the timeline? Leave your answers in the comments below. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you had, you should hit that like button and subscribe button as it helps out the channel a lot. But that's it from me, so keep on catching.